flashy cars to designer clothes, people have always been fascinated by the lives of young entrepreneurs making it online. But behind the Instagram flex and luxury lifestyle, some of these stars turned out to be scammers, leaving a trail of heartbreak, lost millions, and even lives. In this list, we dive into the shocking rise and fall of some of the most notorious African online fraudsters and where they are now. Obin Okeke. If you were scrolling through Instagram in 2017, you might have stumbled upon Obin, better known as Invictus Obi. He was the poster boy for hard work pays. Instagram was his runway with exotic cars, sharp suits, champagne glasses that never seemed empty, and captions that made regular people feel like they were wasting their lives. People hailed him as a golden boy. Forbes published articles crowning him as a billionaire under 30, and global events treated him like Africa's next business mogul. But behind the Gucci shades was fraud on steroids. While people thought he was running legitimate businesses under Invictus Group, a conglomerate of companies, he was actually defrauding Americans of $11 million through business email compromise. The FBI watched him like Big Brother housemates for 13 months before finally striking in August 2019. Today, instead of popping champagne on Banana Island, he served 10 years in federal prison and was released in December 2025, stripped of everything he once flaunted. Samuel and Samson Ogoshi. Samuel and Samson Ogoshi, two Lagos-based brothers, were living a lifestyle that made university students feel like they were grinding in vain. To the outside world, they were just young men navigating social media, but behind the screens was a darker game: sextortion. The brothers were coercing teenagers and children in the United States into sending explicit photos and videos, then demanding money under threats of exposure. One victim, 17-year-old Jordan DeMay from Marquette, Michigan, couldn't bear the shame and took his own life on March 25, 2022, within 6 hours of being blackmailed. That shocking case triggered an FBI investigation which traced the crime back to the Ogoshi brothers. The FBI worked with Nigerian authorities, and by January 2023, both brothers were arrested in Lagos. They were extradited to the United States in August 2023, marking one of the first successful extraditions from Nigeria for this type of crime. In April 2024, Samuel and Samson pleaded guilty to conspiracy to sexually exploit minors. The offense carries a mandatory minimum of 15 years. In September 2024, both brothers were sentenced to 210 months, 17.5 years, in federal prison, followed by 5 years of supervised release. Investigators found over 100 victims, including at least 11 minors. From social media flex to federal prison cells, this case went from online clout to real-life lockup. Sapphire Aimasi. Sapphire Aimasi lived the kind of Instagram life that made many people want to throw their CVs in the trash. At just 25, she was flaunting MacBooks, sipping iced lattes in trendy cafes, and posing like the ultimate tech queen who had cracked fintech codes nobody else understood. People thought she was cashing out from Silicon Valley paychecks, but in reality, she was cashing out from silicon scams. Her specialty was designing fake websites so realistic that even seasoned bankers would think the pages were legitimate. Behind the glossy selfies and "I love tech" captions, she was draining US companies and citizens of millions. But the game started back when she was 21 in Ghana on a MasterCard scholarship. Instead of just coding apps, she coded her way into fraud after meeting Samuel Oguntoyimbo, who made her the official web developer of a crime syndicate. The FBI finally pressed pause on her show in April 2025 in New York. Now, instead of building websites, Sapphire is busy building rapport with prison wardens, facing years behind bars for wire fraud and conspiracy. Kingsley Adano. Kingsley Adano from IMO State lived large, like a proper big boy. He was the kind of man who would post pictures in designer suits, snap photos in front of luxury cars, and casually drop partnerships with MTN into conversations to make people's ears tingle. To gullible people, he looked like a financial messiah, always promising that if they invested small money today, MTN would reward them with big benefits tomorrow. But behind the glamorous packaging was a 10 billion Naira Ponzi scheme. Through his company, SMO Mobile Net Zone Limited, he pulled the ultimate W money trick. People desperate for quick cash poured in their savings, not knowing he was just diverting funds into other shady accounts under another company he created, Setsat Datalink Concept Limited. GT Bank and Fidelity Bank became his private piggy banks, while victims waited endlessly for their MTN allocations. His empire came crashing on September 11, 2024, when the EFC swooped in. Today, instead of flexing as an MTN partner, Adano is stuck as a prisoner, counting years instead of millions. Jess Minma, known as JAM, packaged himself like the ultimate tech entrepreneur. The type who would drop daily motivational quotes on Twitter, sprinkle financial jargon on LinkedIn, and still post selfies beside luxury cars with captions like, "Discipline brings wealth." To his 60,000 Telegram followers, he was a cryptocurrency prophet. To the FC, he was just another upgraded scammer. As CEO of Africa Arbitrage System, also known as AAS, he convinced over 50,000 people to invest today and cash out tomorrow. Every day, he flaunted Rolex watches, mansions with swimming pools, and exotic cars that looked like they were bought in bulk. People desperate to escape poverty rushed in with over $554,000 and 590 million naira in local cash, believing Trepies was the gateway to financial freedom. Then one morning, boom, his team announced the system had crashed. Translation: everybody's money had disappeared. Tears flowed, marriages scattered, and depression spread. The EFC eventually nabbed JAM, froze his accounts, seized his cars, and locked him up without bail. Today, the only arbitrage he's enjoying is negotiating food portions in prison. Wuchenna David. Wuchenna David was living the Abuja big boy dream, posting pictures in front of mansions with captions like car, focus, consistency, and hard work pays, while popping champagne in lounges that ordinary salary earners couldn't even enter. By 34, he was hailed as a real estate mogul, married to a beautiful woman, and dropping daily Instagram sermons about how young people are lazy. What his followers didn't know was that his foundation money came from romance scams. Between 2016 and 2019, Wuchenna ran romance schemes, charming 5 American women into sending him a whopping $2.5 million. He converted everything to Bitcoin and even went as far as convincing an elderly woman in Boston to let him use her account as his money collection center. Imagine turning grandma into a glorified money mule. 5 years later, while flying from the UK to the US, his past caught up with him. The FBI, already armed with testimonies from his victims, arrested him in Texas. Now, instead of Abuja mansions, Wuchenna faces 40 years of free accommodation in a US prison for wire fraud and money laundering. Precious Williams. Precious Williams was the kind of real estate boss lady that made people believe she was born with a silver spoon dipped in gold. Owning 2 multi-million naira companies, Grocer Lillian Nigeria Limited and Lendi Nigeria Limited, she walked around Port Harcourt like a one-woman central bank with designer handbags, convoy-worthy cars, and vacations that looked like Netflix travel documentaries. People swore she had cracked the code of smart investments. But behind the gloss was pure fraud. The EFC later revealed that Precious wasn't making money from oil or legitimate business. She was swimming in scams, from conspiracy to advance fee fraud to obtaining money under false pretenses. Her portfolio of crimes was longer than Lagos traffic. Reports show she had stolen over 13.8 billion naira, and between August 2019 and February 2020 alone, she helped launder 10 billion naira from the infamous NBA trading Ponzi scheme. Today, instead of cashing out in luxury, Precious is cashing in with EFC investigators, while her business empire now sits in case files. From boss lady to fraud lady, the fall was loud. Yugo Maruku Joseph was a classic watertight big boy, branding himself as the proud owner of Penny Hydro Perito Oil and Gas Company. To the public, his company was supposedly set up to make life seamless for people through employment opportunities, community projects, and plenty of grammar about empowering the Niger Delta. On the streets, he was respected as a successful businessman, the kind who rode up in convoys and wore perfumes that could announce his arrival before he spoke. But under this display of success was pure fraud. Yugo was not just doing small scams, he was a heavyweight in forgery and obtaining money under false pretenses. His special talent was forging contract documents so clean that banks would gladly open their vaults. With these papers, he obtained loans in hundreds of millions, living like a king while banks cried silently. His last hit was a jaw-dropping 750 million naira scam before the EFC finally closed in. Today, instead of enjoying oil and gas profits, Yugo is busy calculating prison time like bank interest rates. Hushpuppi, real name Ramon Olaronwa Abbas, was the undisputed landlord of Instagram Flex. From Dubai's Palazzo Versace He made people believe that hard work could buy you Gucci pajamas, Louis Vuitton slippers, and private jet selfies on a Monday morning. His Instagram page was like a fashion catalog. He wore designer outfits the way people wear Ankara on Sundays, and his garage of Lamborghinis, Rolls-Royces, and Ferraris looked like a Fast and Furious movie set. Many young people called him a role model, not knowing the role was fraud model. Behind the Gucci belts was a cybercrime empire. Hushpuppi was knee-deep in fraud, pulling off business email compromises, draining banks, and even targeting an English Premier League club for $124 million. He lived like royalty until June 2020, when Dubai police, in a blockbuster raid tagged Fox Hunt 2, stormed his luxury apartment. The FBI later unveiled suitcases of cash, 13 exotic cars, and emails of 800,000 potential victims. Now, instead of flexing in Burj Khalifa lounges, Hushpuppi is serving 11 years at FCI Fort Dix, New Jersey. His next release date is August 6, 2029. No Gucci, just prison uniforms. Woodbury. Olalekan Jacob Punnell, better known as Woodbury, lived the kind of life that made Lagos youth feel like they were grinding in vain. For less than a year, he defrauded 7 companies out of over $8 million and turned the proceeds into a lifestyle straight out of a movie. Rolls-Royces, Lamborghinis, Mercedes-Benzes, Rolexes, designer clothes. Woodbury had it all. Social media became his personal stage where he flexed these ill-gotten gains, racking up tens of thousands of likes while teaching followers that faith and prayers make all things possible, even if they meant stealing millions. Woodbury wasn't working alone. He was an ally of Hushpuppi, and together, they ran a web of international business email compromise schemes that had companies bleeding money. The Dubai arrest in June 2020 was the curtain call for the duo, and Woodbury's US trial sealed his fate. The courts confiscated all his assets and sentenced him to 100 months, over 8 years, in federal prison. When he eventually returns, he'll be walking home empty-handed, proving that no Rolls-Royce or Rolex can outrun justice. Mumfa. Ismaila Mustafa, better known as Mumfa, used to make Instagram timelines look like a luxury car showroom. Rolls-Royces, private jets, designer watches, exotic vacations. He styled himself as the ultimate currency trader and luxury-loving boss, and for a while, people were more interested in his photos than power updates. Behind the filters and flashy captions was a story of 6 billion naira money laundering. The EFC investigations, aided by intelligence from the FBI, revealed that Mumfa and his company, Ismalab Global Investment Limited, were allegedly running a cybercrime conspiracy targeting the United States. By 2022, he was charged with laundering 82 million naira, and his glamorous lifestyle suddenly became less about flexing and more about court appearances. After Hushpuppi's downfall and his own EFC scrutiny, Mumfa stopped posting lavish selfies. The last one appeared in January 2025, months after going ghost in 2024. Today, instead of flexing in designer threads, he's busy standing trial, which is proof that even Instagram kings can run out of likes and luck.